watch this back. I'll start talking now. Lockie, how are you, man?
Good, man.
You good?
Yeah, real good.
I just see I just posted.
Yeah, I just shared it in my story.
Yeah, you and Wagner Bordelado happened to put out a video same day, doing the same thing. Lifting 100 kilo seated curl. You both did it for 4 reps.
Mine was way faster though.
Yours was faster, but he had a thick grip on.
That doesn't make a difference with curls, man. It seriously doesn't make a difference in curls. Otherwise I'd use them, but yeah, they don't make a difference.
Yeah, fair enough. But
especially in that seated position, it's like you've already got your wrists underneath it.
Yep.
Yeah.
G'day everyone, 28 people in here, the numbers are coming in, good to see everyone. No training today guys, no training from Lachlan and myself. For the main reason that I've got a super match on this weekend, taking on Andy Lee from Victoria. It's going to be a good match. I got a bet with Jordan Davis. The bet is, I said I'm going to 6-0 him, and anything but 6-0, Jordan wins. So
What's he win?
Jordan wouldn't bet much money on me. It had to go down to $10, but it's going to be it's going to be the sweetest $10 I've ever won. I can't wait. No, but it'll be a good match. But so much so that Jordan is actually in Andy's corner. Like he's giving him tips. He's coaching Andy as much as he can.
Not going to help him. It's not going to help him.
That's it. There's just a strength difference at the moment. That's going to be too much.
Yeah.
Oh, well, all right. Let me get. Where's the comments gone? YouTube's really annoying with the comments. They fade away after a while. I gotta keep touching the screen to keep them there.
Todd Hutchins beat Don Underwood like nothing. You sure you can beat? Yeah. The eternal side pressure.
Did you watch the next match that Todd pulled?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about Don Underwood first. So he got smashed by Corey West recently, and look, Don Underwood used to be.
Yeah. At his peak, he was very solid.
Yeah. Now I think he's trying to get back into it. He's not. Even if you ask Don, he's not in form to where he would like. So am I worried about Todd? Even less so now, especially after Jordan Sill just took his thumb. Like I've been telling everyone, that's how you beat Todd Zilla. Control his thumb and you win. Yeah. And that's what Jordan Sill did. Not that I told him that. He figured it out by himself. He's a very good arm wrestler. And
Yeah, and if you were to say if you were to compare stylistically Don Underwood to Jordan Sill and say who is more like yourself, you're nothing like Don Underwood as an arm wrestler. Nothing at all.
Nothing like him.
Nothing at all. And you have much more similar grounds with Jordan Sill for strength dispositions and whatnot.
I mean, at this point, I'm more interested to arm wrestle Jordan Sill. That'd be a great match. And I really like the guy.
Honestly, like so. Todd did beat Don very, very handily. Like it was pretty embarrassing for Don. He couldn't even do a thing.
Yeah.
But as you said, Don just lost to Corey West.
I think Corey West is a beast.
Corey West is clearly a beast right now.
But Corey killed him.
Yeah.
He's not in form. That's no offense to Don Underwood. Get that man in form again. And someone said he was a beast in
2011. He smacked around Devin Larratt. In Arm Wars.
I mean, that's 2011 though. It's 2020, almost 2021.
Yeah.
That's a long ass time. Am I left-handed? Kind of, sort of, not really, but mostly. Does that make sense? Probably not.
I'm not answering any more coloured questions.
And
just
I'm not
so
answering any Tesh questions. It's dumb. I've been beating that guy since 2 years in the sport. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So my right hand moves better in arm wrestling because I've had more exposure to it. I write with my left. I do a whole bunch of stuff with my right arm.
Hey, Corey West. Corey West, the man. There he is. Corey, brother, what you did to Wayne Withers really impressed me. I haven't pulled Wayne Withers, but I've watched him pull other people, and I've gone, damn, that man. And I've shaken his hand, and so to see how easy you put that man into a hook out of straps was impressive.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I think like you and Corey are very similar trajectories right now.
Yeah, both 4 years.
Very similar trajectories. Yeah. I think you'll probably clash some down the track just organically. It'll happen, but it's fascinating watching.
I think a good match is Lachlan versus Zolowev.
Well,
I take that as a compliment, but like
Zolowev is my frame. He's a smaller frame than me. He's a small guy.
But that doesn't.
But he's an elite at the small level.
And he's beaten a lot of big dudes.
Yeah.
It's So my max is in powerlifting, 310 rep squat, 180 kilo bench, and a 350 kilo deadlift.
You want to know my numbers too, guys, or what? Isn't arm wrestling a fascinating sport when you compare it to other strength sports? And they're like, I can't do shit in the world of powerlifting.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty damn good at arm wrestling.
You are pretty good at arm wrestling, yeah.
Just don't put me under a bar on a bench press for heaven's sake.
Yeah,
I will die.
I don't bench press anymore.
Do you think the match will happen with Todd? To give you guys clarity, I've had a few people ask me, how are all the WAL guys pulling in the TAL? And from my perspective, what I know of it, because I had to go through this process with WAL to get my match with Joe Fox approved, is that WAL required each of their athletes to basically request permission to pull, and WAL would either grant it or they wouldn't. They were willing to grant a match with Todd against Lachlan if it was to happen this year, straight away. But as we know, we can't get out of Australia currently to get to the USA without having extensive quarantines on either end and $10,000 tickets to LA. So
the quarantines aren't home quarantines. If it was home quarantine, we'd do it.
It's quarantine in a hotel at our expense.
Yeah. And it's like at the Hilton or something. It's like $3,000 Australian to stay there for two weeks.
We've had to say we can't do it December. We've had to say let's put it off to next year. So TAL proposed March 27th. Which I've already confirmed for myself. Lachlan has indicated that he is good to go. It's just then that WAL needs to approve it. And WAL, from my understanding, are hesitant to approve that this far out because they may have their own events on by then. If they do, obviously Todd is one of those marquee guys for them. So if WAL events are back on, they probably won't approve it. But if WAL events are still being delayed and held back, then WAL are letting their athletes, as you saw Justin Bishop pulled yesterday or the day before, Michael Todd Zilla did as well. So they're allowing people to pull, and they will allow that to happen as long as there isn't an impending event there. So, but the man's human. Anyone who doesn't think the man's human is crazy. Just like I said, go and watch. He faced Jordan Silva, and Jordan Silva was in control.
It was after a tournament, but like he played with Don Underwood. It's like, okay, but how much impact did that have on Todd Zilla's arm? Don't know. Haven't spoken to him. Don't want to talk to him, so we can't really find all that out. But it was a competition setting, and look, like Jordan Silva's a beast. You can't take anything away from him.
I think he's fairly big at the moment. He's 240 pounds, so he's which is, what are you at the moment in pounds?
245.
245. Yeah. Double bicep.
We won't fit. We can have one.
There's one on the left. Oh, mine's going to win on the left. Oh, jeez.
Lachlan versus Pill, Passmore before arm break. Would have been a good match.
Yeah, I think Paul's another one of those guys with a similar trajectory. Very passionate, loves the sport, rock strong, and improving month on month. So
yeah. Cody versus Carrot. Like, let's answer all these questions all in one kind of hit, right? You got the WAL pullers. There are lots and lots of other great pullers in not only the country but around the world that would not only beat them but would be would have an awesome match. So WAL, it's a small pool, a lot of big fishes in a very small pool. As Travis Bajan has said it, not to take anything from WAL, it is very entertaining. But there are lots of guys even in that country that could potentially take off, at least number 2 and 3 of that sport. So of those rankings. So.
Just had a question there from Georgie. He wanted to ask both of us: is it possible for an athlete to get to the top level without steroids? I wanted to answer that, and that was actually a question that I've asked a number of people, and John Brezent gave me a really fascinating and I think good answer on it. He said that 100% you do not need steroids to get to the top level of the sport, and if you do, if you believe that you need it, obviously the health risks and all sort of stuff come into play. We also know that there are certain leagues, certain events, certain moments where you're likely to be facing an opponent for a considerable amount of money. Like Travis has talked about it. A lot of people have talked about it. Zloty Tour is a tournament. PAL Vendettas, where we know openly that there isn't testing done. And you have to make a decision at that moment if you're going to go in natural or you're going to go in not. And honestly, at the top end of the sport, I think there's spot use of that sort of stuff. But to get to the top of the sport, hell no. You do not need anything. You need time, you need consistency. I've done 7.5 years of consistent training. I haven't missed anything. I think I train 6 days a week and I don't miss it. I just don't. 7.5 years of not missing training.
And with me, like I've been at it for 4 years, where 2 of that was kind of doing powerlifting as well. But with the 2.5 years that I've had dedicated to the sport, I've been lucky enough to come into it at the time of this country was coming into their maturity. So a lot of the mistakes and kind of stuff that you had to go through very early on with very little information, I haven't had to go through that. So I've had the benefit of being able to skip a lot of mistakes that other people have made, and then I've had Jana's help me along as well, and it's kind of accelerated some things, but there's going to come to a point where it just comes down to time. I'm doing everything right, there's nothing more I can be doing right, and making all the right decisions on the table as well. It just comes down to having more skin in the game.
Levi Ousley, one of the supporters, he's one of the members in the coaching group. He's asked if we're ever going to make a trip to Japan.
Yes, please.
I know that I like literally I was when I was going to WAL to face Brendan Lemon and Mulville Hill. I actually had planned on my return to Australia to go back to Japan, and I was going to go and do some arm sumo, all that sort of stuff. So I would love to get to Japan. It's cheap to get to Japan from Australia relative to everywhere else in the world. So yes, Japan is yes. Question there from Zenzu. Also, Ryan, Jordan is known to have crazy strong hands. How does his hand feel compared to John Brzezink's?
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Jordan has very long hands and he knows how to use them. Strong.
Very different.
Strong is
not the word, is it? Jordan isn't strong. Like not compared to other arm wrestlers.
No.
The arm wrestlers that Jordan's balanced with, Jordan is significantly weaker than.
Yeah, he just utilizes what he has.
But he has an amazing set of tools to control people. The long fingers allow him to not only get past an opponent, but still be out the back of an opponent as well, because his fingers are so long that he can be on both sides. That creates a problem for a lot of people who aren't used to experiencing that. Strength is not the thing that Jordan has. John has strength in his hand. John's hand's the same size as mine in measurements. His is thicker, but size-wise, it's the same.
Yeah, size-wise, about the same, but he's...
John has cup. John has pronation. In a strength sense, when you grip it, you feel, oh, that's strong. Jordan doesn't feel strong. Jordan has great control.
You lose to Jordan and go...
Yeah. So yeah, totally different feel from John. Yeah. How did Levan go from 90 to 170 kilos?
That's good.
Whatever.
Lachlan versus Porkchop. Man, I really like Curtis. I think it'd be a fun match. Honestly, I think I've got him right. But he's surrounded by some really good people. But that would be a fun match. But right now, I definitely think I win. Max bench press, I don't care about bench, sorry.
Do you guys think about competing in WAF?
No, not yet. Like, I have competed in WAF, so have you.
Yeah, 2015 for me.
Yeah, 2000 and...
We're actually banned.
Yeah, we're banned anyway.
We are officially on the ban list of WAF, so until they drop that political crap...
we didn't want to compete with them as soon as all that political crap happened, and they really tried to divide the sport.
So the fact that we competed as Lottie put us on the ban list automatically. I see WAF as the best opportunity from grassroots to I know they pursue the Olympic dream better than anyone else. They just concentrate on it more. Better. Yeah.
I think they've gone about it the wrong way.
Anyway, what else we got? Connor Deegan, you can get a shout out. Of course you can, brother. Thanks for being here. Hey, a little dog. What type of dog was that was barking in the background?
It's a boy. He's a little shit. He's a Pomeranian cross Chihuahua.
From Bo Edgar, what was the biggest difference Giannis made to your training regime that you weren't already doing?
Structure and intensity. Structure, intensity, and commitment. So when you get a program from me or Giannis, you'll be alarmed at how much work how much volume we actually program. And the first couple of weeks, first month and a half, to be honest, is tough. And I thought I was doing enough. No, I was not.
Your sessions are long. They do wear you
They're
down.
long. I can do it quicker if I want to use less weight. It's just like, if I have opportunity to spend, take my time, I'll take my time. But I can get them done in about an hour and a half, and I'm moving through them pretty quick. Just the weight isn't as high.
From Lieutenant Scroats, Ryan, did you have a mentor when you first began arm wrestling? Not for the first year. I discovered arm wrestling at the early stages of it really being on YouTube and things like that. So 2013.
In an informational sense.
And there was no one in Australia at that sense. So I was navigating through YouTube for the first year, just shadow boxing. I would watch arm wrestling videos continuously, and I would shadow box the way that different legends of the sport moved, and I would ask myself the question, why on earth are they doing this? I got my first opportunity to have a mentor in Devon Larratt when he came out in 2014 for a tour, and I think he could sense how much I was passionate about becoming an elite arm wrestler, and he spent more time with me than I guess I deserved at the time. He really gave me a lot of energy and set me on the right path, and then I had lines of communication open with Devon since then. So Devon really shaped the early, probably first 4 years for me on how I trained and the style of arm wrestler I became. And then it evolved into the season of getting strong, where I was under Todd Hutchins for a year, and then it's gone into my own again, and kind of working with this bloke here on maximizing everything. But I've had the privilege, as you guys know, of hanging out with a lot of the legends out of the North American scene, and picked all their brains. John, Travis, in particular.
Irakli, yeah.
We get asked that every week, Irakli.
Yeah, he's a beast. Yeah. I need to look at him more.
Yes, I see enough of him. Who would you think would have won between a Mindaugas and Irakli?
Probably Mindaugas.
Yeah, we got a tournament on the this weekend down the Gold Coast. If anyone is from Brisbane and they want to get involved, and go along, look up the Powerhouse Arm Wrestling Club, look up the Australian Arm Wrestling Federation. There's a tournament on. Yeah.
Jordan beat Todd for one round only. True. If it was a super match, my money would be on Todd. But he's still got to win on him. So.
Yeah, Devon Larratt put out a video with deep vein thrombosis. He looked pretty down and out about it, so I wish him well, but I don't have an update for you guys.
Deep vein thrombosis?
It's a blood clot. He had a blood clot in his leg and his lung. And so the risk on deep vein is that the blood clot dislodges and goes to somewhere vital. And so you get put on blood thinners and you got to be real careful, kind of shit. But too much travel in the air, not enough water, not enough.
Oh yeah, because he said stay hydrated. Yeah.
Like can kill you if that clot dislodges and goes to your aorta or some shit. You're done. From Rod Kristalov. Ooh, what's going on here, Rod? How do I make my head circumference bigger? Good point, Rod. I noticed that about 6 months ago, and there was Matt Mask is the only exception to the rule. He popped up and said, "Hey, I got a small head," but I challenge you to find an elite arm wrestler that doesn't have a massive head. They all have massive heads.
I have a massive head.
I have a massive head, and honestly, John's head is the biggest. It is. I have a massive head. I know that when I was in the military.
So my fitted cap is a 7 5/8.
I don't know.
So anyone who wears fitted caps.
You got a tape measure? You've got a loose tape measure? I wanted to give a live reading of my head. Anyway, when I was in the military, my head was bigger than everyone else in my cohort when we got sized for hats. Remember that? And when I went to John's place, went for a drive in his car. He's got a nice convertible Audi, and I didn't have a hat. He's like, "Oh, you'll need a hat." He just chucked me one of his, and I went to put it on, and I was like, "What the hell?" I was swimming inside this thing. And I'm like, "What the hell?" He's like, "Yeah, I have to get custom made hats."
Yeah, see, the thing with John, like, people go, "Oh, he doesn't look that big." And I'm like, yeah, because everything about him is just
Yeah. He's
double size.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have muscle popping off him because his elbow joint is this big, and he's just,
yeah.
you know what I mean, his thumb
So-
is twice as thick.
So, Rod, how do you make your head bigger? Because I know, Rod, you don't have the biggest head, do you, brother? Rod's one of our flyweights.
Yeah, he is. He's a bad dude.
He's a bad dude for his weight. You probably got a big head for your weight, man.
Yeah, you probably do.
But how do you make it big? I feel like mine's still getting bigger as I get older. It's
Yeah, I
just
think
getting wider or something. I don't know. All right, enough of the head talk.
Why do you think Eastern Europeans have incorporated arm wrestling coaches more than the States? Arm wrestling coaches here in the States are almost not heard of. Well, they've been doing it for a lot longer, haven't they? Well,
No. USA's been doing arm wrestling longer than Europe, but I mean, it was born in Petaluma, competitive professional arm wrestling.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the Europeans probably formalised it
They
quicker.
formalised it, and a number of European nations have government-sanctioned sponsorships and things like that, so
That
they
makes
take
a
it a lot more
difference.
seriously.
Yeah.
It's disjointed in the USA, and only the top guys get any sort of commercial sponsorship and remuneration. So, where the whole team gets paid, the whole club gets paid in Georgia and places like that. And so they take it more seriously, and therefore they have coaches. They recognise that, and clearly, you need a coach to get the best out of yourself. You need someone overlooking you and guiding you and fixing your mistakes. Favorite arm wrestlers, Lachlan? Who are they? From Chaz Mercado. Chaz Mercado, what a good name.
Who do I really like watching? It's always entertaining.
You're a Krasmir Kostadinov fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I do. I like the way he wrestles. I really like watching. Who's that guy that was in your weight category?
At Zloty?
Yeah, with the black hair. All the girls loved him.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Alan Makiev. he's a smooth dude.
I like watching that guy for the reason he just cracks me up. Cracks me up.
Alan's a killer. Like,
100% he's a killer.
And he's a killer in with the ladies as well. Like you said, the way he walks around, the look on his face, he's just ultra cool.
Yeah. But the way he arm
Ultra
wrestles
cool.
is,
But he fucks you up real bad.
Oh, real bad. It makes it look like nothing. I love it. Just looks at you like, is that it?
He's the king of no load, and then just bam, it's
Yeah.
done. And he can flash press, flash hook, flash anything.
Yeah.
He can do it all. He's cool dude. My favourite arm wrestler, Jeebies.
It's not necessarily the best ones.
Yeah, that's a good question. Who do I enjoy watching most, as opposed to studying and all that sort of stuff? Because the three I study are Devon, John, and Prudnik.
I study Prudnik, Zoloev, Krasimir.
There you go. But who I enjoy watching most?
Oh, and Arsen. Arsen.
Yeah.
I really enjoy watching Arsen Liliev, and I study him as well.
Yeah. I don't actually watch that much arm wrestling anymore.
Yeah,
Like I struggle to watch it.
You should.
I love
it's
it.
always in my head.
I love watching Engen Terzipool.
Yeah.
Because he goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Does it all.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a hard question. I can't give you a solid answer. Sorry. Jordan Davis says Andy 6-0. Bloody bugger off, Jordan. Everyone knows you're wrong. Everyone knows that you're going to lose your $10. Whatever. Go away.
How long do Lachlan sessions last? On the arm wrestling stuff, it can be up to 3 hours. Structure. Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Creative lines, I've had my arm bent carrying them for years. Have I been underlying training my tendons? Yes.
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 Yeah.
Look, tendon training. I got. There's another issue that's come up. They go, Lachlan's only got a 4-year arm, and Todd's got a 15-year arm or whatever. You guys realize how stupid that is? Like, I've been lifting weights for 15 years, right? That's training my tendons. It's all tendons. Like muscles, skeletal muscle is attached by tendons. You can't pull in a way that is just tendons because it's muscle, because that's how it works. You can really pull on your ligaments, and that just hurts. You like doing that.
Yeah.
not for me. But, you know, my tendon, I walked into this sport with tendons that were already close to an inch thick in my arms.
And I can say the same thing myself. I have always been in a one-armed sport. I was in tennis prior to arm wrestling. And I actually attribute tennis to why my left can't catch my right.
Yeah, probably.
Because I was from age 7 through to age 18 trying to be a tennis pro. So I hit millions of tennis balls on my right, and the tendon conditioning on my right is just I'm just never going to catch it on my left. So, yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, arm wrestling is I mean, you need trauma to your arm, yes, of course. But at the end of the day, it's relatively low impact. I made a post about this recently.
What's the worst injury you've dealt with?
From arm wrestling?
Running right for fun.
Huh?
Oh, just the username.
Alright. I tore my elbow flexor in Arizona with a match with Dustin Allen, which ended up winning, but that's it.
Yeah, and for me, my shoulder situation at the moment, you guys know I went and had all the MRIs done, and I had a lot of swelling around my bicep tendon. I had partial tears in the supraspinatus and infraspinatus, and I had a real sloppy labrum and messy labrum. Not torn, but just roughed up and all over the place. So dealing with that has been a gradual and sensible approach for me.
And you kind of learn to get around it.
It's still a problem. Like if I tried to do those seated curls for you, my shoulder would be like, no. But I actually think I'm at my best on the table right now, and it's just you described to me what is it, the book called The Gift of Injury?
The Gift of Injury.
Yeah. So that's the way you got to look at it. That's how you keep motivated. The gift of injury is that you will be forced to go and discover other things and work on other tools that you would never have considered.
Yeah, the thing is as well, like, motivation is fleeting. If you want to become elite, motivation means nothing to you. It's all, it's just discipline at the end of the day. You know what you need to do to reach your goals, and it's just a matter of getting your head down and getting it done. Consistency, it's just load over a long period of time.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing about the motivation thing is a lot of people are just scared to aim high enough.
Yeah, you gotta back yourself. Dave Chasey versus Vavoda in their prime, Chafee.
Yeah, I got Chafee on that too.
What was no? Friend Deep. Lachlan versus Kitagali Ongabayev.
That's a hard match for you.
Stylistically, that's a difficult match.
He's just explosive and a top roller and dangerous. Yeah.
How long the Lachlan session? I reckon it's about.
Hermes Gasparini has a giant head.
Yeah, he's 115 kilos right now. He's a big dude.
Jordan Davis still being stupid. Ryan, when is the collab with Tom and Juji? Gee whiz. I did a collab with Tom and Juji last year, but look, if I get to North Carolina, I'll do one for sure, but that's a long way away.
Best strap you've ever used? We use the Arm Assassins.
Yeah, I
really like them.
Arm Assassin straps are good. The straps out of Korea I really like as well. I couldn't even tell you what the name of the company, but I used one the other day.
Is it by Art Arm?
I don't know, but it was nice. It had a little. It wasn't the double ply like we're used to. It was a single ply, but it was comfortable, and it had an alloy buckle. It was good. The worst ones are the Mazarenka big metal clasp things with the leather.
Oh, I hate those things.
They're the worst.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis v. Khaled. Khaled would be Jordan.
Yeah.
Because Jordan doesn't, we talked about it before, he doesn't have enough strength. Jordan's a control-based guy. And although I think in the strap, Jordan would break him down stylistically and get there eventually, but rounds 1 and 2 and 3 would probably be all Khaled. Because Khaled's hand is so strong, he'd just hold on.
Time is it here? 12:30-ish.
What has been the historically more dominant posting versus low hand top roll? Just depends on. It depends on the shape of the top roller versus whether you're a posting top roller or a low hand top roller is pretty much dependent on is your arm longer than or shorter than your opponent's. that's basically what will guide it. You
Within-
don't have
within
to
weight
strictly do
classes,
that.
I usually tell people that posting top rollers, that's a boss move and you're asserting your dominance. A low hand is more technical and you're more likely to get it out.
Who wins out of Blue and the Mystery Man? I don't know.
Okay, Marcus versus Lockie. I train with Marcus. Right now I have it. That guy's potential is massive though.
Gabriel Fitch asking who wins out of Ryan and Pepe Panzetti in a super match. I've never lost to Pepe. I've beaten him multiple times. So me, very comfortably. The man in straps kind of feels lost against me. He's one of those guys who's super dangerous out of straps, but he's not dangerous enough to stop me getting to straps. And then in straps, it's been very comfortable. Pulled him in a hook as well recently, just in a side table thing. He was 105 kilos, and I had the edge there too. Ryan, what was your military rank? I was a captain in the Australian Army. Hey Lockie, who is stronger, you or Travis Beijing?
In every single lift known to man, I beat him on the table. He gets me when he is in form. So when we saw him in Arizona, he was getting ready for a $20,000 match, and he was on the sauce. And he was big and ready, and he just took everything off me, and it was silly. Nowadays, if I get another ready Travis, I mean, he's the best. He's one of the best in the world when he's ready and he's motivated. Lots of things he does better than me.
Terry's asked when are we having another pound for pound US tournament tour. Travis actually hit me up about that the other day. TAL for March 27. He's like, come and let's hit a tour afterwards. Give me a week or two and we can drive around. So there may something happen early April, but everything, we all know, we're all used to it now. Everything can't be locked down because of COVID. Ayush Sharma, thanks for the shout out, brother.
Heaviest version of Jordan. Jordan's young and his weight doesn't always mean that he's getting any stronger. He put on 10 kilos and I didn't notice the difference. You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Love you, Jordan. Yeah. Same.
Just hurry up and get some base power, Jordan.
Yeah.
Just enough of the...
What do you think about the Devin Lara and Eric Spotto super match? Why does Devin pull on a hook?
Why doesn't Devin pull in a hook often? It was the only way he could beat Eric.
Well, it wasn't a super match, was it?
It was training.
It was just training, just doing some ready goes, so I'm not even going to answer that. Lachlan, would you advise bodybuilding style wrist curls for improving the strength of your forearms?
Are you on a bench?
No. The thing is like what you're going to train hypertrophy, bodybuilding style, then you're going to make things bigger, and there is a time and place for that, and I certainly do hypertrophy training in my programming, and then there's the strength phase to it. You need both. At the end of the day, arm wrestling has a very large component of strength to the sport, and you need to get stronger, and you need to be able to undulate between hypertrophy and strength when appropriate.
I'm generally a fan of, as well as the closer you can come to perfectly replicating the position of your entire body, hand and wrist, to that of a match, the better. So I would always prefer to have a cable and a rolling handle than to be using a dumbbell on a flat bench. Not that the strength doesn't translate, it does, but for me, there's a big neurological pathway thing as well.
Yeah, neurological pathway. I think for me, the wrist can cop a lot of stuff. And my goal in my programs, at least, is to balance all of that out and make every articulation of your wrist savagely strong, with higher percentages of focus on certain things that a person needs or wants. Tuesday pain caused by the actual strain. Okay, lactic. It's the inflammation in the joint.
It's compression on your radial and ulnar nerve.
Yeah, and if I don't get that, something's wrong.
How good a tennis player was I? A question from Billy Jack. Oh, I can't say it. Jack Lanen. Anyway, from age 7, I decided at age 7 I wanted to be a tennis pro. I climbed the ranks of my local club till I was the club champion when I was like 12 years old, taking on adults. Then I became the New South Wales champion at about age, among juniors, at about age 15. Won my first Australian tournament at age 16, again in juniors. And at age 17 and a half, when I quit the sport, I was ranked 6th in Australia for juniors.
Yeah, which is a big deal because tennis is one of those things like in Australia, along with swimming, we're
big,
good at.
yeah, it's compared to a lot of people. But so, I draw so much on my mistakes in tennis from the mental approach, and applied that to my arm wrestling. And I used the biggest reason I stopped. I actually got to the end of high school in tennis, and I had to decide: do I continue with it, or do I go and get a job? And I went and joined the army. But I stopped because I was mentally intimidated. I didn't think I was good enough. Where the reality was, I'd spent so much time, I was at such a high level, but I feared losing. And so when I found arm wrestling, I said, all right, don't fear losing anymore. Go and rack out the losses till you can't find them anymore. And I gave myself permission to lose, said there might be 200 losses between now and national champion, and it turned out to be about right. So when we're about now, it's the same thing. Seek out those losses till you can't find them anymore.
Has COVID affected our motivation? No.
No, COVID's been fine for me. I don't give a rat's about it.
Most
Marcus versus Ryan. Marcus versus Ryan's an interesting one. Marcus, actually, I was chatting with him yesterday, and he actually said to me, I still think I could trouble you, Blue.
Yeah, I had him hitting hard the other day, and I was just holding. It took me a little while to figure it out.
Well, Marcus is one of those guys that his frame, his hand, everything about Marcus is so much bigger than me. Yeah. He's one of those guys that I describe as like Khaled. He has very significant amounts of potential, and if he taps into that, his rise relative to me, his trajectory will suddenly spike.
Yeah.
If he puts it all together.
And we get
at this stage, at this stage, I think that I still am enough ahead of him on the very little specific strengths and the awareness of how to use them to derail him. But if he became half the arm wrestler in a technical sense that I am, I think he'd be too much for me. So yeah, Marcus and I is a good match, and it's something that I think if Marcus gets the bug properly, we'll see a lovely evolution. Because like you, when you started in the sport, I was all over you. But because of your strength potential, you went through this transition of catching me and then going past me. Marcus has the same story. And for me, it's fun. It's fun to stay ahead of these big monsters for as long as you can. Just trust me, I need to do a feature. You and me need to go and train with Marcus in Marcus's world and do a video feature for YouTube to show them that we have monsters down here too. Because a lot of people, the whole eight people stronger than Khaled comment that I made in terms of genetic potential. Got under people's skin, and I think if we
Marcus is number one on that number.
If we introduced people to Marcus and said, well, this is like, the thing is, there's just so many guys from the Polynesian nations that have that genetic potential. Marcus is probably the biggest that I've personally met. Yeah. He's talking about big heads. I think his might be bigger than John's.
Yeah.
It's a big head. Like, if he was in the room right now, his head wouldn't fit between us.
Yeah. So Marcus has got a background in MMA, and I'm trying to use that, to benefit me as well, but use that in his mindset and apply it to the arm wrestling table. Oh, I think it works too. Seems pretty happy.
Oh, gee. What are the top 10 mistakes an arm wrestler should avoid? Asking bad questions, number one. No, that's a lot of mistakes.
Asking bad questions, being disrespectful to pros when trying to get their attention, following advice from Chris Gobby or Prandeep, or Pradeep, whatever his name is. What are the mistakes? People thinking they just need to train their arm, train your hand, train your wrist most of all. It seems to be the biggest weakness that I find in newbies. It's like, cool, super strong clamp here, but just take the wrist away.
I think the biggest mistake you can make early on is thinking that arm wrestling is about moves. I've heard a lot of new people say, but what's the best move? What's the move I should do?
I get, I'm either hook or top roll. No, you're an arm wrestler, do it all. I know the Europeans have their ace, but watch the move around. If they're preparing for someone specific, like Krasimir, right? Going into top 8, he's like, I'm not training my hand anymore. And he's just getting his arm crazy strong, so he's getting prepared for the people there, You know, give an arm wrestler time to prepare for a specific person, then you will see that they move around their moves quite a bit. I don't know, there's a few others. Months ago, I was interested for their private training plan. I had problems that I couldn't afford. Are they still available? Greetings from Switzerland. They certainly are, but if you want to hop onto the the Ryan Blue Barn page, I have like a basic 3-day program there. Start there. It is only $30 Australian. Do that for a couple of months. If you feel like you're all willing, ready to progress,
just hit join now on this channel, and you'll see it.
Yeah, let me know.
Question from the Arm Zone: how would a match go between Matteo Warangi Hetamoris and Vitaly Matteo?
Mate Warangi Hetamoris has him covered all day.
Vitaly is a top roll only, so it would be a battle of access to hand and wrist security, and Mate's experience and explosivity.
Mate's quite young too, and I just don't think Vitaly will ever catch him.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, unless Vitaly really invests in a hook game and forcing, because I always think Mate is vulnerable to being forced into a hook because he's such a posting top roller only.
Potentially, but he's just so strong. Like he just did a 262 kilo bench with arm wrestling on top. Like I just don't see Vitaly. Hang on, how's the beef between Corona? Is there any plans to super match? Okay, I don't know. Do we want to talk about that?
What's that one?
The recent development.
What?
With Ryan Scott.
Sure.
So, you're going to Perth.
So I'm going to Perth. I got invited to Perth for some business deals. Whilst I'm in Perth, he said, why don't you have a super match? Do you want a super match with Ben or Ryan when you're here? And I said, yeah, look, I'd love a super match. And I said, what if I bring Lachlan with me? We could do, one of us could take on Ben, one of us could take on Ryan. We could even have a battleground where the winners go forward and the losers go down, and it could be friggin' kick-ass. Ben Carroll, yep. He says, no worries.
Because he's a man.
Yeah. What did Ryan say?
Ryan Scott said, Lachlan needs to beat Gunters and Ben Carroll before I touch him. Now let's talk about this for a second. So the win that he had on Ben Carroll, right, wasn't quite a pin. That's a pin. The win that he has on Gunters, very controversial.
Elbow fails or something?
No. Slip in losing position. He called it before he actually pinned him. He was off the stage going, whoa, like he'd won. And Gunters was like, the hell, man? And he just accepted it, right? Because that's who Gunters is. So for him to say that I needed to beat those people first on the right hand is incredibly arrogant and asinine. He is, look, every time we face each other, the last time I faced each other, I tried to slip. The last time I didn't try to face him, I actually held him up, but same thing, he was off the table saying he'd won. When I looked at the footage, my arm was that far from the pad, and the ref called it.
I actually think that Ryan Scott's, he's going down the wrong path in the sense that he because of Corona and the inactivity that's going on, he's risking losing his number one rank or
especially when we're going to your front door, and you've got, how many notice? That was February, right?
Yeah.
So 3 months notice, you say you're not ready, you need 3 months.
And I offered to put $500 prize money
exactly,
on it.
and we're coming to your hometown, so,
and Ryan Scott's saying no.
Yeah.
No to Lachlan, no to me.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that the size, the pure mass and size and viscosity of your vagina is out of this world. Anyway, we can move on.
What's going on? How's my journey of capping versus not capping and hand control? Yeah. This shoulder injury caused me to have to top roll only for quite a bit of time, and when I was against longer-armed guys, I discovered that uncapping my thumb gave me a different sense of control, and it gave me more options. It's in my back pocket. I still predominantly cap my thumb, but under certain circumstances, I am willing to uncap my thumb. It enhances your control, and it enhances your ulnar deviation.
That's
radial deviation. Ulnar
deviation.
So it enhances chop. I'll talk in terms.
Yeah.
So it gives you more of this and more of that, but I find it gives me less pronation. When I'm all bunched up and thumb locked, I can pronate harder. So you need to stylistically understand who you're up
for me,
against.
it depends on the shape of hand. for me, and I kind of, it's all fine. Forearm size means nothing. I mean, it's kind of a byproduct of training them, but in terms of, yeah.
Ronan wants the full story on Danny Tesh. The full story that I am willing to share without going into anything that's not is that Danny
had a change of career.
Had a change of career, yeah. Danny, his working life took him to different places, and
he's in a moment when he's just chilling out. You know, he's in a really high. He was in a high pressure environment. He's a business owner, and now he's at a real change of pace, and he's just enjoying life without the pressure of the expectations put upon him by everyone in the arm wrestling world. He's just kind of chilling out and doing his own thing.
Yeah. If you had to guess whether Danny will ever come back to chasing the lead arm wrestling, would you say he will or won't?
I'm going to say that if everyone gets off his case and he's actually got a chance to come back at his own speed without everyone
I think he'd come back as an 80 kilo arm wrestler too.
He's 85 kilos now. But what I think is, drop the expectation about him and allow him to train quietly without everyone jumping on his case without the expectation. He could come back.
Yeah.
The likelihood of that happening because of the legend that he's become that Neil Pickup keeps on perpetuating is now being carried on by everyone. I think that's probably sealed the deal on him probably never coming back. So thanks.
I think he could come back as an 80 kilo someday. I don't think he'd want to step back into the 90 because that was his weight category that he used to
I don't think he'll come back. He's one of those guys. He's very eccentric.
I told everyone I'm not going to answer any more Khaled questions, so stop asking them. If you want to see whether you think I can beat him, go and look at my last video.
Yeah.
Who are the top 70 kilo pullers in Australia?
I have no idea. That's too small.
I might do a video on that. I've got to think about it properly. I don't want to give the answer off the top of my head, but names like Tim Gadsby, Mickey Lonsavich, Nicholas Burnett. Yeah. There's probably a few other guys in that club that can get down that light if they had to.
Yeah, we've got a couple of guys SK,
Rody and Kristolov.
Bozo Bo. He's new, but he's super jacked little dude.
The flop presser?
No, he's new from the GC.
Okay.
The little tattoo guy.
Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah. Anyway, there's a bunch of them out there, but guys, we got to the bottom. We got to the bottom of your questions. We've caught up to you. That means, and we've been in there for 47 minutes. We might wrap it up. But what we are going to do from here is we are going to go and actually film a bit of a wrap up of the program that we've released. Lachlan has designed the program, which is program number 4. And we'll be releasing that. It's actually, the program itself is already out in the members area. So, Ethan Tunstall, g'day, brother. So, if you want to access the program, hit the sign up or join button, whatever it is, here on YouTube. You'll see that.
It's a 3-dayer and it's going to destroy your life. It's pretty great.
So, we're going to film a wrap up of that and release that into the members area probably tonight.
Oh, where Alfred would be in that list. Up there.
What was that?
You're 85 kilo over here.
Oh, yeah.
With Alfred Corker.
85, he slots in somewhere among Tim Gadsby, Mickey Lonsavich level. So he would have been either 9, 10 or 11 if he was still as active as he used to be.
Yeah, well, we'll answer this one. So, yeah, we all know Ryan's got shoulder problems. Look, the main kind of injuries that seems to happen with arm wrestlers is suprainfraspinatus, teres minor, your subscap, all those kind of external rotator areas. This is why I do not bench. It loads too much on my internal rotators. I don't like them, but injuries through those external rotators are very, very common. We are going to do a video very soon on shoulder health. I have a couple of hacks for arm wrestlers to avoid a lot of those aches and pains.
Igor thinks that arm wrestling's too vulnerable.
Two vulnerable spots in the okay. No, but it is a, what did he say? It is unhealthy. It's terribly dysfunctional. But if you don't do it, no one will remember your name. Yeah, look, any sport at a high level is dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Any amount of training, you got powerlifting at the highest level, CrossFit at the highest level. Oh,
And it comes down to human nature and human competition.
Yeah.
Humans will do what they have to do to they'll suffer through pain and adversity to be crowned that champion and have your name remembered, as you said.
And even not to be crowned champion, just to keep on doing what they love, they'll go through all kinds of stuff. So any sport at the highest level is terribly dysfunctional.
And the next Tesla model's coming out as soon as the sponsorship is arranged. It'll be known as the Anvil.
My training block at the moment, I just finished my last training block, which was a strength block. And I'm just in the middle of doing my flush week, which is low sets, high reps, 50% on everything, and I'm just kind of bashing them out.
Nice.
Just to get all that done. My next block, I'm about to ride it. It'll probably be another strength block, because it's fun.
Yeah,
and
everyone loves 1 RMs.
Yeah, 3 RMs.
3 RMs.
3 RMs. But yeah, we'll see. There's going to be some new stuff in there. I've got some cataract style stuff going in there, and yeah,
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Next cool piece of content you're going to see is this weekend. Big tournament on here. The first and only tournament of the Australian arm wrestling scene this weekend will happen. So I'll be filming that.
It's an amateur competition.
The tournament footage will be released on the Australian Arm Wrestling Federation's YouTube channel, but my super match and the super match between Taryn Broad and Sam Burnett will be heading out on mine.
That'll be cool.
So.
And there'll be a good after table. I'll be there.
There'll be heaps of after
Mario
table.
will be there.
Yeah, there'll be heaps of good after table stuff. But I can't wait. Andy, Lee, and I have been. Andy's been chasing me hard for the entire time he's been in the sport, and he's always been kind of one rank behind me. Always. He just can't get over that hurdle.
He won't.
And I intend to remind him that it's going to be like Matt Master, Devin Larratt. He's going to face me over 20 years and never beat me. And it's going to be one of them again. But I look forward to the challenge. Andy, if you're watching, I'll see you on Saturday. And the ladies and gents in here, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.